I'm in the Autopsy program and I've got my case open. If you missed any of that, you can check out other videos in this playlist. In this video, I'm going to talk about shell bags. And these are a set of registry keys. And the registry keys that were used in order to open a particular file, anything like that. I'm going to show you the shell bags itself and it'll make more sense. So here's all these .dat files. And we can see they are files that had a path. Here's my computer, here's the root of the C drive and the users folder, and you can see some of that detail here, such as date created, modified, and accessed. And those shell bags say information about a folder, such as the size of the folder, the position of the folder, what icon was used, and other information. And in some cases, you're going to find that this is very useful information. In other cases, you're going to find it's not so useful. It just depends on your perspective as the investigator. But I'm going to show you the shell bag information and show you some interesting things about it. So we see all these user class.dat, and each one of these folders has a different user class.dat. And that information is then tied back into the registry. So for instance, here is the administrator who had saved a file or done something on the desktop. So we can see in that information the local settings to the shell bag itself, as well as the source file. Now, if I click over on application, this is a piece of the registry. This is, if you go into regedit, you'll see all the different Hive keys and sub keys and values and things like that. However, what this is showing me here is just a portion of the registry that was modified in order to make whatever files happened on the desktop as the administrator work. So for instance, if I go in, I can see the app ID. I can see that it had something to do with OneDrive. So we know that there were files that were probably saved to OneDrive or copied from OneDrive down to the desktop. And you can find more information the further you dig into it. So for instance, here's the directory, here's the background, and here's a little bit of information about that, not too much. We've got a file sync client information, the SID, security identifier, shell information. So sometimes you're going to see some of these things blank, the values blank, and other times you're going to see actual values. Now you can copy this value if you want, and you can do a search in the registry by going to regedit, paste it in, and it'll find that information, and you can find other information in that same folder. Because in this particular case, you're only seeing whatever had to do with the desktop. So each one of these folders has a shell bag in it, which has a piece of the registry that was then copied from this location up to the registry itself. So if I, for instance, go and make any other changes, then it's going to update that .dat file, and that .dat file is then going to update the registry. And just to put a finer point on it, if I click on text, we can see more information, such as the user class.dat file, the bin information, local settings. We can see all the same information, but this is all put into a text format, so it's a little bit easier to read. So if you're doing any searches or anything like that, you can copy all this text out to a notepad, and then you can do searches for specific things that might help you in your investigation. So although the application shows the foldered version of the registry for this particular folder, the text one breaks all that information out. And of course, there's also hex information as well, which also breaks that out. You'll see the ASCII characters on the right-hand side. So I did do a video on converting hex to ASCII. You can check out in this playlist if it helps you as well. So that's all about shell bags in the Autopsy application.